Maradona. Ho visto Maradona. A Maradona pilgrimage for fanboys requires a patient tour guide. This is Alessandro, a local Neapolitan. Do you think that the locals here might think that we're tourists, considering Andrea is also dressed up in the Napoli jersey as well? Do you think we look touristic?
Nah, I don't think so.
Or do you think we look like locals here in Napoli?
Especially Emmet, he looks Napolitan.
What do you think, Alessandro? Be nice.
No, tourist.
Siamo locali.
Yeah. You're Napolitano, vero?
Sì, è vero.
Off we go to Spaccanapoli, where Diego Armando Maradona is omnipresent. El Diaz himself watches over us while we have a coffee at Barnilo. These are strands of the late Diego's hair, allegedly encased upon a Diego altar where tens of thousands of visiting fans get their selfie fix. Now it's time to hit the back streets of the Quartieri Spagnoli for some street art. Maradona lived rent-free in the minds of his opponents and continues to do so here in Naples, both on the streets and in places of business, just like Carmene's workshop. Mechanics kind enough to let us take a look at his collection here. So we got this Action 1 back at Barcelona. He's got a special one he's bringing out here with this. Come ti chiami? What is your name? Carmine, grazie. Honored for the gifts he delivered over 3 decades ago, this wall is a prime example of just how much Maradona means to the people of Naples, as Carmine takes us through the glory days. This one's from 1987. He'd returned from winning the World Cup. These are the hidden gems of Naples, where someone like Alessandro will let us see these. He knows where they all are. And this is the advantage of having someone like this man take us around.
Guys.
Tell us more about this shrine.
The man who made this edicola is the owner of this macelleria, and he did it for his friend that is a Juventino, Juve fan. And he put sciarpa, if you read Napolitano Juventino, ti schifano a Napoli e pure a Torino.
So he's done it to taunt his Juventus supporting friend.
Neapolitan fan, they hate here in Naples and also in Turin.
Wow. Actually, this goes hand in hand with the Carta Genica we saw yesterday, your Juventus side with their own toilet roll.
Yeah.
Emmet was quietly nervous that Alessandro would realize he's a Juventino. On Roman balconies, you'd find pictures of the Pope, but here in Naples, it's all about Diego, and occasionally their other Neapolitan deity, Pino Daniele. That's Pino on the right. In fact, you'll often hear his music played at the Maradona on match day. One of the oldest pictures of Maradona available. Who's this by, Alessandro?
By Sergio Siano, Neapolitan photographer that document all the life of Maradona.
Unlike the rest of us, Sergio Siano had actually visto Maradona, and his most iconic Diego images were recently showcased at an exhibition in Naples. They say every dog has their day, and indeed, this was our day, as Alessandro convinced this business owner to let in the gringos. Ciao, dog. Ciao. Nodding and smiling, fully pretending to understand Napolitan dialect, I was welcomed in. On the pitch, Maradona formed part of the Magica trio, but if Naples was Gotham City, Maradona would be their Batman, and Robin would almost certainly be Pino.
There is a picture with Diego and Pino together.
Oh yeah, look at that one. Can we go back like 5 minutes where I disclosed to Alessandro, you know, he's a Juventino. Can you show us your reaction again?
Chi è Juventino?
Alessandro's rendition lacking the intensity of his initial reaction.
He
couldn't believe there was a Juventino on tour with us in our Napoli trek, our pilgrimage to see Grande Diego. Yeah, we're going to take you out to Scampia later on and leave you there with your Juventus shirt from Saturday night. Our brave Emmet Gates puts his devotion to Diego above any team allegiance and has earned his Napoli stripes by writing on El Pelusa for big publications. Jesus, son of Diego. Alessandro continues to take us around town.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
While Emmet unleashes the Italian.
Yeah, I like this value.
Minimum.
So that was there. That used to live here.
Yeah.
But somebody
Somebody
Alessandro's unhappy with the changes.
transform it.
Okay.
This is the OG.
That's the original, and that's the 2022 update. Now we're heading from the old town into the Spanish Quarter, and we'll start it off. A couple of extras here. This one I love in particular.
As you can tell, we love Diego.
This is kind of a Serie A of pizzeria in Napoli. This is Datilio. We haven't eaten here, but apparently it's in the top 5
Try it.
pizzeria here.
Try it.
We ate there yesterday at Al 22, and here's a shot.
Diego lifted 2 scudetti in Naples. We accomplished 3 pizzas.
Probably won't see this on the streets of Milan. Emmet, we ascend up into the Spanish Quarter.
Yep.
With Andrea leading the way, we continue to make friends.
This gentleman stopped us to show us Diego in amongst Padre Pio and some other Neapolitans. Buongiorno.
A young Diego Maradona with a glint in the eye.
One of the newest additions here. Shout out to JP.
Wouldn't it be great if we could actually catch one of these artists creating something live?
1987.
1987, this one put on this wall in the Spanish Quarter.
1987, 1990, and it should be 2023 now, the Campioni d'Italia Napoli. Diego, the demigod here. Also, more artwork done by JP.
Alessandro wants to show us something, but just before we head off, Diego. But one day, you can just imagine the San Diego Maradona just there on the altar. Emmet, Alessandro's been talking this next one up. Now, he's saying this next one is special. Speciale, eh?
Speciale.
Alessandro talks with the owner of this tiny motorbike workshop. It's here that Neapolitans can worship El Dios while they wait for their Vespers to be fixed. I think it's a crying shame that Halfords doesn't offer this experience.
Original picture by Giovanni Genova, that was a journalist by Il Mattino.
Gennaro the mechanic isn't the only Napolitano that uses his hands to do God's work. And when you're not being brainwashed on the streets, you'll hear it all over the radio. A dedication to Napoli isn't complete without.
Good spot, Emmet, good spot. But the specials bought today at the local butcher.
Italy's all about family, religion, football and food. These Neapolitan butchers are working hard to ensure that Napoli fans eat big while their team wins big.
Also this picture.
This butcher shop is well protected from dark forces. There's an image of the Madonna up the top, the Napoli side that brought glory just below, and then Maradona himself presides over the workbench.
Vai Davide, riprendi.
Argentinians love a good piece of meat, and Diego was no exception.
This meat represents Juventus.
If you wanted proof that the word Juventus is a trigger word in Naples, here it is. Emmet laughs nervously at this I hate Juventus sticker. He's in a room full of meat cleavers. Andrea was raised as a Torino fan, so he's loving this.
Show us how he kills Juventus.
Emmet remains speechless. Just like he was following that 5-1 massacre of Juve at the Maradona.
San Diego.
It's been a long time since these guys celebrated Napoli's last Scudetto.
Grazie.
But how long until Emmet's dirty little secret comes out?
Diego. Zambonghisa. And we've caught him in the act. Come ti chiami?
Meet JP.
Stai facendo un altro.
Capitano
Oggi di Lorenzo. Guarda.
This is actually one of the artists that makes so many of those murals you see around the Spanish Quarter. It was an absolute delight to catch him in the act.
We've got one of the latest, the Defender of the Month for September, Andrea. Kim Min Jae.
It was a challenge on Diaz where he celebrates at the end.
Yeah, look at that. This guy, brilliant artist.
Naples has remained an open-air shrine of past Partenope idols since 1987. It takes a special group of players to curtail the prestige of Cavani, Insigne and Mertens, but just look at this epic wall with Di Lorenzo, Kim Min-jae, Kvaratskhelia and Anguissa. This artist is more or less Napoli's very own Caravaggio.
Has he been commissioned to do this? Does he do this?
I think, yeah.
Sei tifoso del Napoli?
Silly question, but I had to be sure.
What do you think of the artwork, Andrea?
It's beautiful.
All of these players, their images will inexorably decorate the streets of the Spanish Quarter for decades to come.
Hopefully tonight it will be Kvaratskhelia, also known as Maradona here.
And Che Guevara and Caravaggio.
Quite a big reputation to carry upon your shoulders in a city like Naples, and we've seen so many. Look, just behind you, there's so many pictures of Diego Maradona here, up on that corner there. He's absolutely everywhere, more than Jesus.
Way more than Jesus.
More pictures of Maradona than churches.
Maradona, numero uno.
Sempre.
Sempre. Anche da morto.
È per sempre.
Forza Napoli.
Sì, sta
Sempre forza Napoli. Di dove sei tu?
Irlandese.
Irlandese. Mi piace Napoli.
Ah, sì.
Bello, eh? Pure le donne di Napoli sono belle.
È vero. Grazie, buona giornata.
Proof that the locals are so warm here in Naples.
Però io volevo dirglielo alla signora che lui in realtà è juventino. Glielo potevamo dire?
Alessandro's right, if only that lovely lady knew.
We should have told her that he is a Juventino. But we have to be careful around here on a Champions League day in Naples when Ajax is in town. There's other things to be worried about besides the Ajax supporters. We don't want to be worried about the Napolitans that are going to find out that he's a Juventino.
Emmet turns to make sure the Savastanos aren't walking past.
Él es Juventino.
And now for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Amo la maglia de Napoli.
Bueno, un placer muchachos. Oggi ganamos 3-4-0.
Sì, speriamo. Grazie e buon lavoro. Meraviglioso.
From JP's 2023 Scudetto winners back to Diego's Dominion.
Gives a new meaning to the song Ho visto Maradona, doesn't it, when you come here to the Spanish Quarter?
I was itching to let somebody know.
Emmet, I think we need to tell someone that you're Juventino. Murales Maradona.
The foot of the pork and the mouth of the pork. Really.
The culinary delights, street food in Naples.
What you found there, Mr. Gates?
Found the Scudetto with the 2 years that Napoli won Lo Scudetto, 1987 and 1990.
A Maradona badge of honor.
Lovely. That's a good find because we walked past that. More Diego.
You don't need to be a professional tracker to realize we were going in the right direction.
Here.
From the 90s.
The 90s.
Another little shrine on the corner here.
The picture of Vesuvius at the top.
A delightful piece of art that even the missus couldn't argue with back home.
The only human is number 10.
True, the only human's number 10, Alessandro was saying. What number do you think the Madonna wears in this team? Number 11?
11, 12.
Maybe she's the goalkeeper.
She's a great terzino destro.
While the mere thought of Diego induces a sweet salivation,
There's one last thing to see, boys.
there is one former player that brings a bitter taste into the mouths of Napoli supporters.
Tell us, Alessandro, what does that say for the people at home?
Se non riesci a surarlo, se avete degli higuain nel cesso, you can call this hydraulic man.
Roberto. So if you can't get it out yourself and there's a big higuain in your bowl, he's going to come and get it out for you.
You can call Roberto.
Roberto will come and do it, this guy here. Looks a little bit like a Mario brother there.
He's a Mario, it's a great goal.
Is this the great number 10?
Not quite, but Andrea was leading us towards Filardi's masterpiece.
Effigy of Ciro Mertens, who made the cut.
Plenty of Napoli greatness nearby, but there can only be one true king of this city.
The Murales Maradona.
Think of all those iconic images of Maradona. Now include replicas of every shirt he's ever worn. Add to that dozens of artist impressions. All this in one cozy little Neapolitan piazzetta where now those who make the journey here inhale Diego's glorious past and breathe easier, knowing that Napoli has now won it again for the first time without him on the pitch, but instead inspiring his beloved club from the Calcio heavens.
We've got to do this. We've got to do the selfie video. Me and the king, Diego Armando Maradona here in the Spanish Quarter, Quartiere Spagnoli in Naples. And if you ever get a chance to come down here, you've got to get to this area. It's in Toledo. There's a metro stop not far away. What's the history on this one, Alessandro?
This is the mural was made in the 90s by Mario Filardi. That was a young man from Quartiere Spagnoli. He made it for the second Scudetto. In 2017, Bosoletti made the new face of the mural.
Which is somebody's windows.
Chiro's windows, actually.
Windows is always closed
Permanently
for
shut.
respect.
Alessandro's going to show us a newer one.
This is something special that any football fan can appreciate, even those that have supported Diego's biggest rivals, present company included.
Spectacular, but we have to say one thing. Emmet is a Juventino. He's a traitor.
But you are wearing this shirt.
It's saving me from getting beaten up.
What is Diego thinking of you right now? Look at that.
Nothing good, I think.
Well, that's what he's thinking. Right there. The free kick over the wall into the goal.
85.
Repent your sin. What's the word on this, Emmet Gates?
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Meraviglioso, eh?
Yeah, meraviglioso. You have to see this place.
And we finally can say, abbiamo visto Maradona.
Ho visto Maradona.
That mural is revered as a sacred work, just like Leonardo's Last Supper. Given it was a Champions League match day, it was actually time for our own supper, but the streets were making a familiar sound. From the bars, to the grandstands, to the stadium that's been renamed in his honor, we salute you, Diego Armando Maradona.